It wasn't that long ago that a woman couldn't get a mortgage without a man's signature. No husband? Too bad. No male cosigner? No loan. That did not change until 1974. So if you're thinking about buying a home solo today in 2025, whether after divorce, after raising a family, or just because you are ready, this isn't just a smart financial move. It's part of something bigger. Let's rewind. In early America and throughout Europe, a married woman had no separate legal identity. Under a system called coverture, her husband owned everything: her property, her wages, even her body in many ways. She couldn't sign contracts, file lawsuits, or buy a home in her own name. That began to change in the 1800s. Connecticut was first in passing the first Married Women's Property Act in 1809, and others slowly followed. But it was New York's 1848 Act that really changed the game, becoming the model for states across the country. By 1900, every US state had passed laws allowing married women to own and control property, on paper at least. These laws let women keep inheritances, control their own wages, and hold legal title to property. I remember seeing the deed that my grandfather had, or my grandmother rather had, to our homestead, family homestead in Nebraska after her husband died. But there are massive restrictions, and they mainly benefited the white, middle, or upper class women. For women of color, immigrants, or those without family wealth, the barriers stayed much higher. And what about single, divorced, or widowed women? Well, they sometimes could own property, especially under the Homestead Act of 1862, which offered federal land to any head of household, man or woman. Many women moved west and filed claims under their own names. Picture that woman in a long dress traveling by wagon or train, hammer in hand to stake out her own piece of land. It was rare, but it was legal, and thousands did it. Still, even with land rights and property laws on the books, women were financially boxed in. Without credit, loans, or income of their own, owning real estate wasn't easy. Banks could still legally deny loans based on gender, and often did. Sometimes lender would require a husband or father's signature, even when it wasn't technically the law. It wasn't until 1974, with the passage of the Equal Credit Opportunity Act, that women finally achieved financial autonomy. This law banned lenders from discriminating based on sex or marital status. It meant that a single woman could open a credit card, apply for a loan, or take out a loan without needing a man to co-sign. That's in my lifetime. Maybe some of you younger ones, that's not in your lifetime, but my grandmother could not have a loan. Think about that. 1974, that's only 50 years ago. My mother could not have a utility bill or a car loan in her own name. It had to be under my father's name, and this is why. And yet look how far we've come. Today, women make up nearly 1 in 5 home buyers in the US. They're the second largest group after married couples. Single women actually buy homes at more than twice the rate of single men. In cities like Albuquerque, I see this trend all the time. Women buying after divorce, after raising kids, or simply because they want the independence and security that come with homeownership. That doesn't mean it's easy. When I work with women buying solo, I hear the same concerns again and again. What if I make a mistake? What if I get taken advantage of? What if I can't keep up with the costs by myself? These are real fears, and they make sense because for generations, women were told they couldn't or shouldn't handle money or real estate on their own. And that voice in their heads is still in the background for a lot of us. But you can do it, girl. You can do it. Here's the truth. You're not alone. You are part of the movement. You are part of all these women doing it for themselves. Every woman who signs a purchase agreement solo is rewriting a story that is centuries old. You are the continuation of the women who fought for the right to own land, to keep their wages, and inherit what was theirs, and to say, "This home is mine." Buying a home solo isn't just about investing in property. It's about choosing a life that fits your needs, not someone else's expectations. And here's the practical side. Women today face unique challenges in real estate. The gender pay gap is still real, which means qualifying for a loan can feel harder. Women also live longer than men, which means you're more likely to outlive your mortgage and really need long-term housing security. And statistically, women tend to prioritize safety, community, and stability more than flashy upgrades, which often leads to very smart purchases. We're very good buyers. So if you're thinking about buying a home on your own, here are 3 quick tips I give to my clients. Number 1, know your numbers. Even if you're paying cash, don't skip the inspection or ignore long-term costs. Owning a home is more than your mortgage payment. Build your team. Just because you're buying solo does not mean you're doing it alone. A good agent, a good lender, and inspector gives you the backup that you need to make a great decision. And number 3, trust yourself. You know your lifestyle, you know your budget, and your goals. You know those better than anyone else. The right home is the one that fits you, not what looks good on paper or pleases other people. It's yours. Women buying homes on their own is one of the biggest shifts in real estate in the last half century. And every time you take that step, you're proving the point. You don't need permission. You don't need a cosigner, and you don't need anyone else to validate your choice. 50 years ago, this wasn't possible. Today, it's not only possible, it's powerful. So, if you're ready to buy on your own, take heart. You're not just investing in a property, you are investing in yourself, in your independence, and in a legacy of women who refuse to wait for permission. If you found this video helpful, please be sure to check out this video on buying solo and subscribe for more practical real estate tips.